mentioned setting goals. Can you provide some examples of the academic, employment, and or social goals people might set?
Sure, yeah. So I think Evan and I will kind of do this one together. So in terms of goals that people can set using the SDLMI, it can really cut across a number of domains. It can be academic, transition focused, or it can be really more related to social emotional learning. So for example, related to academic learning, it really could be, a number of things. It could be more related to a certain content area. If the SDLMI is being implemented in a math class, for example, it could be more related to learning specific math strategies, right? So creating like a formula sheet so then they can remember, some of those formulas, those key formulas that they might need to be successful in an algebra class. It could be also then more focused to general academic skills. So being prepared for class, having all the materials that you need, packed up the night before. So then you make sure that when you're ready to go to school, you have all the things that you need. It also could be in the academic setting. It could be preparedness, but more related to transitioning from one class to another. So when students are in middle school or high school, they have to go from class to class to class very quickly. So kind of could be really focusing on those transitions. So I need to get from this place to this place, and how am I going to schedule my time to make that happen? A lot of times for students with and without disabilities, I would argue, but probably more for students with disabilities, somebody else is sort of facilitating that whole process. So they're not necessarily learning those skills, but the SDLMI then really allows the student to direct that process to figure out what supports they need in order to achieve that goal. And it really puts them in the driver's seat. So the outcome is the same, that they're learning the skills and they're engaging in that, but it's really them kind of taking an active role in that direction. In transition planning, some goal examples could be related to like wanting to go to post-secondary education settings. So it could be things like exploring different colleges or universities. So creating a list of application requirements of 3 colleges or universities they want to attend. Or it could be a kind of a hybrid of academic learning and post-secondary education, like related to writing. So I'll complete an admissions essay and then review that with like a college and career counselor. In terms of it being more like related to community living or participation, it could be something like related to transportation. Like I'll find a way to get from school to my after school paid internship. Or I'll identify 3 sports leagues that I can participate in after I leave high school. So really those domains can be quite broad. It really just depends on the context of what the SDLMI is used and really what's important and a priority for the person at that point in their lives. And Evan can share a little bit about some possible employment goals.
Sure, yeah, and just to kind of follow up on what Shada was saying, a lot of the examples she provided are useful in an employment context as well, especially around transportation, which we know is always a concern for people, or always an issue, and then specifically related to employment, goals could range pretty broadly depending on the person's experiences with employment and where they are. A person who maybe hasn't had the opportunity to really think about the career that they want or explore jobs, they could set a goal to either job shadow different kinds of jobs or explore different kinds of jobs in different ways. All the way up to it's also really useful. The model is really useful for people who are employed. So maybe a person has a job and they want to set a goal to learn something new in the current organization that they work to advance their career. Maybe they're struggling with communicating with their supervisor and could set a goal to learn some new effective ways of communicating. There's really a wide range of goals all across that spectrum that people could set.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, when we think about schools and the people learning how to set these goals, and a lot of what you were saying, Shada, was sort of around organising, and they don't actually teach that in school. They don't sit you down in a class and say, okay, guys, today we're going to learn how to organise your calendar, put your appointments in there. organize, you know, when your projects are due. They don't teach that, they expect it. And this is one of the things that a lot of people struggle with, is they sit there in class and they're going, everyone else is doing this, but I didn't know that we had to do it, and I haven't planned for it, and I don't have what I need to complete the task. So now I'm falling behind, and that's not right. So having this tool allows them to speak up and say, I need help with this. I want to be more organized. I want to be able to achieve this goal and get my projects in on time and get to my appointments on time. So this is a really good way of structuring that for them early on, so that they can take it on later into employment, where they need to be organized, they need to be prompt, and they need to be at work on time, and they need to know when things are due. So it really gives that crossover, which is so important for many people.
Yeah.
And, you know, with the employment side as well, being able to go out and experience different things is a really good way of understanding what it is that they want in their career. Because one of the things that I've recognized is that a lot of people assume that a role is exactly how they see it when they see it on TV, or they see it in a store, or, you know, when they go places, they think that everything is really good, it looks wonderful, and that's exactly what I want to do, and they have their heart set on it. By going out and having these different experiences, they can say to themselves, this is not what I want. I like this part, I don't like this part. Well, where does that take us next? And this model allows for that planning and that readjustment, where they can change that goal and they can say, this is my new goal. I'm readjusting and we're moving in this direction.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd go a little step further too. You know, somebody may say, you know, I really like this as an option, but there's so much I didn't know about it that I need to learn. So that kind of brings in that cyclical aspect of the SDLMI and SDCDM, that there's, you know, always different things that we need to learn in a you know, employment context to continue learning. So yeah.
Yeah, always learning on the job, always learning, does not stop.
We all are, yeah.
Okay.